Good morning, my name is Loren Falsone and I'm here to prepare for you today one of my favorite breakfasts. It's poached eggs with a delicious spicy tomato sauce. So as you can see, I have these wonderful plum tomatoes. I like to use the plum tomatoes because they actually have less juice in them, so they're gonna be much more meaty. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the sauce. It's a very quick sauce, actually. It's called Scuie-Scuie, which means quick. So we're gonna come over here to my juicer and we are going to juice this sauce up so that it's going to separate the pulp from the juice. So this is a very high-powered juicer. So we're just gonna turn that on. Very quickly. This is the best tool to have. We don't need to do all of the tomatoes because we're just making enough sauce for 2 dishes. But as you can see, it separates the juice out and the pulp out, and it's amazing. Okay, so I'm just gonna open this up here. Now, what I like to do is like to use the juice for something else. You could make amazing Bloody Marys with it. You can make soup with it. You can throw it into stocks, but you definitely do not want to throw it out. Drop this in. Wash my hands, and away we go. So this sauce was taught to me by this wonderful little old Italian lady from Italy. She was from the island of Capri, and like I've already said, it's called Scuie-Scuie, which means quick. So the few ingredients in this sauce are the tomatoes, very good extra virgin olive oil, and then garlic. So over here I have what normally people use to shred chocolate or grate chocolate. I'm actually going to use it for my garlic. So I just love to run the garlic right over this little slicer. And as you can see, it gets it nice and thin. This is a wonderful gift to give people. I love giving this slicer to people as a present for Christmas, or any of my line cooks when they've done an awesome job. It's a great gift. So I'm just slicing up some garlic here. I've already trimmed it a little bit, taking the nubby portion off. Oops. You can do truffles with this. It's versatile. Okay, so that's all we're going to need. And we've already turned our heat on our stove. We're gonna drop in our olive oil and we're gonna get it extremely hot. Now the lovely thing about this sauce is that the olive oil has a true presence. It's not delicate in it, it's pretty bold in it. So you're gonna use a little bit more than maybe you normally would. I'm gonna drop in my garlic. Once you see the veining in the oil, that's when you know it's gonna be hot. It looks like tiny little ripples in the bottom of your pan. So once you see that, you're gonna be good, which is almost there, okay? And then over here I have my pot where I'm gonna poach the eggs. Do that noise, that's excellent. I love stirring with my wooden spoon, and we're just gonna stir that up. Now while that's doing its thing and browning, we are going to throw little peppers in here. Now I love to garden. These are hot chili peppers that have been growing on my patio, and I'm just gonna clip maybe 2, and I'm gonna use the seeds and all. So I'm gonna come back over here, and I'm just gonna cut them up. Seeds and everything. The heat of these peppers are gonna be in the seed, and since we want it nice and spicy, we're gonna include that. You can smell it definitely. Be careful about touching your eyes. Do not touch your face, your body. will be pain. And we're gonna just drop them in. Love it. Smell it. It smells so good. So this is going to create the delicate browning that we want. Once we get that nice delicate browning on the garlic, we're going to drop our tomato in. It smells amazing. And our tomato is ready to go. Tomatoes going in. Now, since this tomato is extremely dry, and we might need a little bit of liquid, we can always go back to the juice that was in the other container once we juice this up. Smells amazing. Super simple. You know, most foods that I like to eat have only a few ingredients in them. This is a mother sauce, tomato sauce, and it's one of the foundational sauces in Italian cooking. It came from an Italian family from New York. Okay, so you can see how dry it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of our liquid to it, just to loosen it up, just to help give it that room it needs to simmer. Ah, yes. And we're not gonna be cooking this for very long. Like I said, shui shui means quick. So this is going to be very fast. Okay, we're gonna season it with a little bit of kosher salt, which is my favorite. And while that is doing its simmering, I'm gonna actually add a little bit more liquid back into it, just to give it some room to reduce. You want the reduction to happen, but you don't want it to get so dry. Okay, and then always tasting what you're making. Excellent. Spicy. Yum. I think it needs a little bit more salt, so I'm going to add it in. We're going to turn the heat down a little bit. I always like to say you control the heat. Don't let it control you. So you're the master of the stovetop. This is an induction burner that we're using. That's what I got. And I have some bread. I used a whole grain toast, put a little bit of butter on it. My oven is set to 325. I'm gonna throw that in and let that brown up and do its thing. And then over here we have our liquid, our water for poaching. So anytime we poach eggs, I like to take a little bit of white vinegar. I'm gonna drop that in. The vinegar is going to help with the coagulation of the proteins in the egg. Without the vinegar, your eggs are gonna go all wonky and they're not gonna be tight. So the albumin will be everywhere. So the vinegar is gonna help hold that all together. I also like to put a little bit of salt in my water. And what that's gonna do is that once the egg is cooking, it's gonna be seasoned and it's gonna be nice and ready to go when it comes out of the water. Anytime we're poaching, we're gonna go to about a simmer. So we wanna go to about 180 degrees. You don't wanna boil it. When you boil a poached egg, it creates a mess in your pan, so you don't want to do that. Okay, so I think that we're there. We see tiny little bubbles, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do, this is called mechanical convection. So I'm going to create a vortex by just spinning the water, just like this. I'm going to drop in my eggs. I'm doing 4. You can see the white wrapping around. And to get a perfect poached egg, obviously it's gonna depend upon the size of your egg, but I would say about 2.5 minutes is where we're gonna go with this. We have some towel right here, so once the eggs are done, we can just dry them off on the towel so that we're not gonna get the water on our bread. Because anytime you get that sort of vinegared water on the bread, it's not a great thing. Okay, so here we go. So it's doing its thing. 2.5 minutes. We're gonna check on our bread. Bread looks good, sauce looks good. I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit more in our sauce. And we're gonna come over here. We're gonna garnish our dish today with a little bit of cilantro. Cilantro is from the coriander seed, and it said that the best flavor in cilantro is actually in the stem. So the stem is delicate, it's not really tough and difficult to eat. So we're gonna chop some stem up as well. It's already been washed. It's ready to go. Whenever you're chopping, you want to make sure that your fingers are down, that you're not going to get your fingertips, okay? Looks great. Eggs are good. I'm going to taste the sauce one more time just to make sure that it's where we want with the seasoning. I feel like I could go a little bit more with the salt, so I'm going to add it in. The thing about seasoning is you should do it in layers, because anytime you reduce a product, you're taking moisture out, the quantity is reducing, so if you put too much salt in the beginning and it reduces, you could end up with a salty product. So just go in layers. So good. Do you remember the name of the sauce? Scuie-Scuie. Scuie-Scuie. Quick. Okay. So you can see, I'm gonna just pull an egg up for you. Touch it. It should feel like the Pillsbury Doughboy comes in, and it should just be bouncy. If it's firm, you've gone too far. So like I said, about 2.5 minutes for these eggs. These are farm eggs. They really are almost done. They're great. And just gently let them drop. Moisture is going into the towel, so it's not going to go into your bread. This one has a lot of white. Okay. I think it stole it from this one. Boop. All right. Fabulous. All right, so we are ready to plate. We have our sauce that's done, our eggs that are done, our bread should be done. I'm gonna put our bread on our plates. We eat with our eyes, so we're gonna make this nice and pretty. Eggs are perfect. All right, we're gonna go on to here. And these are, like I said, farm eggs. We get them from our local farmer, Jan Costa. Thank you so much. And then we're gonna just shut our sauce off. I'm gonna bring my plate to my sauce. And I'm gonna add this yumminess right over the top. Super simple, right guys? And healthy. Like, this is a great way to start your morning. To be honest with you, I don't eat like this every morning. I'm usually grabbing a yogurt, but I do love eggs. They're one of my favorite things. They've got great protein. And because I'm trying to stay active, there's about 6 grams of protein in each egg. I'm gonna put a little bit of the cilantro in the top. Doesn't it look good? It's beautiful. Okay. So that's it, folks. So here we have it, our homemade tomato sauce, which is a mother sauce with poached eggs on top of our whole grain toast and a little bit of cilantro. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and we'll see you back again. Take care. Thank you.